Hello everyone, welcome to Vivek IAS Career Academy YouTube channel. I hope all of you are doing well and following current affairs on regular basis. Topic for today's lecture is from Oceanography, which comes under Geography, and Oceanic Research, which comes under Science and Technology. So such topics which are interdisciplinary, which are from two subjects, they are most highly probable they can be asked. So I'll be covering this current affair from both the dimensions, and this topic is in news because on 21st June, which happens to be the International Yoga Day as well, it also coincides with the World Hydrography Day. So on every year 21st June World Hydrography Day is celebrated. So this project has been going on from last 3 years. So it achieved a remarkable milestone. The Seabed 2030 project was in news because it has covered almost 20% of the sea floor. Because we all know almost our Earth 70% is sea, covered by sea and oceans only. So we are trying to map the entire ocean. And so it started in 2017. There was a United Nations conference on oceanography in 2017. So this is where this idea was born, and because originally just 6% of the ocean floor had been mapped by then. So they decided that it would be prudent to map the entire sea floor by the deadline which has been set is 2030 as the project says. So you have to be careful that by what the deadline is 2030, project started in 2017 under the United Nations Oceanographic Conference. So whenever such projects are in news, the first and the foremost thing which you should cover is the organization part. What are the key organizations which are spearheading this project? Because a factual question is highly anticipated from such themes, because this oceanic research is not formally mentioned in science and tech syllabus. Yes, there have been couple of questions on Arctic Council and IND-ARC 2020, and also another factual question on organization. So generally, whenever examiner is asking a question from this theme, the organization part becomes the most important one. So the two organizations which are mainly garnering attention due to this project is the major is the JAPCO, and the other one is Nippon. So Nippon Foundation, as the name suggests, is from Japan. It is a non-profit organization, philanthropic organization, which is now Nobel is dedicated to this project. So this organization is more or less, since it's a non-government, they are not likely to be asked. The second one is quite important. It stands for General Bathymetry Chart of Ocean. This bathymetry word is important because it can be asked in state service. What is bathymetry? So bathymetry is nothing but study of depth as well as spread of ocean floor, because this is what they are trying to map in the given project. And in science part, you must be careful that what is the unit which is used to denote the depth of oceans or floors. It is the fathom. So make sure these two words are important from the general science part, the fathom and the bathymetry, because this topic, this word you will encounter multiple times. So this is the organization. It is the only intergovernmental organization which is authorized to map the ocean floor, and it has been doing it since 1920s. In fact, because it works under agencies of IHO and IOC. Now, these two are additional two organizations which are directly related to this project. IHO stands for International Hydrographic Organization. So India is also its member, because at times some factual questions also revolve around whether India is part of IHO or not. You should be careful that yes, India is also part of India International Hydrographic Organization. Its secretariat is based in Monaco. So Monaco Prince was keenly interested in such projects, and that's where the journey actually started. So this is working under this project only. Then IOC stands for International Oceanographic Commission. Now this works under, once again, the UN organization UNESCO. We all know about it. So this is where the organizations, multiple organizations are interacting or Okay, so make sure you are careful about this JEPCO term, because this is, when you will search for this topic, it will come JEPCO's CBET 2030 project. So we have decoded the organizations, we have highlighted the journey part. Now what comes, why are we trying to spend so many rupees, or you could say millions of rupees on such project? What is the aim of project? The aim of project is quite straightforward, that as the name suggests, we will map the entire seabed by 2030, and the data which would be generated through this activity would be made publicly available. Even now when you will go to their official site, there are two columns you could contribute to the data as well as access the data available. So this is a noble project, because we will discuss why this data becomes more or less important for us. So in this, the main, because that's not that we were not doing it, we were doing it through satellites as well as through aircraft, but in those only selected sites which we were keenly interested, we were just carrying the information about them. But there is a need to get the entire map, because map of Mars, even moons have been already decoded, but Earth is yet to be decoded. Yes, we have done the terrestrial part qualitatively through remote sensing satellites. So this is what the broader aim of this mission is. Then coming to the technology part, since we are using some state-of-art technologies to spearhead this project, and there are two words which you will encounter. One is the sonar, which is sound navigation. We use ultrasonic waves. It's a general science topic. Make sure you go through your NCERTs, because deep water sonar is going to be the main instrument. And also there is an autonomous underwater vehicle. Just like in aircraft, we use the word UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicle. There is a specific term for this project, which is the autonomous underwater vehicle. So these will be going deep, and they are trying to decode at least 100 meters through the oceanic region. So that the qualitative data, and you can say quantitative, further it can be improved, like for trenches and for other specific features, oceanic ridges, this can be mapped further depending upon the socio-economic relevance. Now, is there any SDG goal which is linked to such projects? Because currently the SDG goals are more or less always in news. So while preparing such topics, if some specific sustainable development goal is mentioned, you should be careful to just memorize even the number as well. So it's the SDG 14, because that goal states that we have to conserve as well as sustainably manage the oceans, seas, as well as marine resources. We all know it is the time for blue economy, so we must manage these resources which are nature has bestowed to us. But once again, the key word is sustainable management. We should not exploit. So this is where the SDG linkage also comes into the place, because some such times we just do the superficial study of such topics and we are just limited to the launch and organization, and such intricacies we miss. So make sure you are not, if you are doing this topic, do it qualitatively, so that the time you have invested in such topic, it gives you the dividends in the examination. Now comes the main part, that why is this project so important, that what would nation, or you could say the common man, is likely to gain. Because you have to understand, so science and tech revolves around the application as well as impact on everyday's life. So on this note, we should be careful about the broader 2 or 3 major dimensions which this project bestows upon. The first major angle is the most pressing problem which we all are facing, the climate change. We all know due to global warming, the ice cap, ice sheets are likely to melt, and oceans and sea level is likely to rise. And the small nations like Fiji Islands and other Pacific islands are Micronesia, Melanesia, are likely to face the heat. So this is where we could monitor that data. So whatever changes are taking place, some scientific reports which IPCC prepares on annual basis, they can be further substantiated through such data. So first angle, you should always start with the climate change part, because it will be, because some policymakers are still not accepting the reality of the climate change. So we need to just articulate our scientific evidences through such empirical studies. The second dimension, more or less, which is the major dimension, is the economic dimension, because once you are investing something in project, you want something in return. And sea and oceans offer a wide angle of marine resources. So not only you will get the rich oil and gas reserves which could fuel your economy. You could also lay pipelines as well as transmission cables which can further give a boost to a country's economy. So this is mainly the commercial angle of this project. And also, as we had discussed in our last lecture, the fisheries. The fisheries picture comes into the angle because wherever warm and cold currents meet, they are the rich fishing grounds. So we could locate such grounds, and the fishing community can further be helped in assessing those remarkable resources. And then there is another angle of disaster management, because we have seen that in Ring of Fire belt, the belts which are notorious for volcanoes and earthquakes, they can be quite destructive. So timely detection of such movements can go a long way in managing such disasters. So you can highlight the disaster management part as well, because when you will go through the deep article, you will see that Japan is quite interested in such projects, because in 2011 tsunami, the earthquake which triggered it could have been, damage could have been further minimized if we had mapped such things on the priority basis. Then you have another angle of geographical, that we could use this for studying the ocean circulations, the currents studies, even the tides can be predicted on more accurate basis. So it will further augment our studies of the landforms as well as marine hotspots, the volcanoes, other ridges, the sea floor spreading which you study. So all these geographical themes you should just have an overlook from your NCERTs as well, because that's the geographical dimension of this, because this topic, once again I am highlighting, comes under oceanography as well. So make sure we are just studying at that angle as well. So these are the broad parameters, and also marine biodiversity, some new insights could be given, because on the sea mounts there is a lot of unexplored biodiversity. On daily basis, whenever we explore such areas, we come across many new species which not even had been nomenclated. So this is likely to have some indirect economic significance, as well as enrich our knowledge about such species which are yet to be decoded. So that's the evolutionary as well as the biodiversity angle, which can be highlighted if you want to justify. Because in main such topics, whenever they appear, you have to just give the economic or environmental significance of such projects. So this project has a 360-degree angle. We have tried to decode it to 360-degree angle. So this topic you could just jot it down in your oceanic research theme, or if you can also incorporate in the oceanography of your geography. There is a practice question at the bottom which you could give it a try, and in the comment section. And if you have any specific queries related to science and tech, you can visit the institute between 11 to 2 p.m. I'm always available. So I hope once again this session was useful, and this is a special update on oceanic research under our science and tech current affairs series. I'll be back soon with another lecture. Thank you for tuning in.